Good morning. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. We're going to do things a little bit opposite today. Instead of me interviewing a guest, I brought in a guest to interview me. I'm going to introduce Sharon. So Sharon's going to introduce herself, right? So that you can meet her. But she is one of the Vicarians. She is the person who's in the live stream during the videos normally. Today, she's going to be the one asking questions just so that we can have a little conversation. If you're new here, hi, my name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a year-round house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School. I am one of the creators of Exodus Summit. I help Black women take a sabbatical or move abroad or bop around as a digital nomad or house sit, whatever, to embrace ease and peace of mind. If this sounds good to you, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. Ring that notification bell so that you will be notified when I post a new video or when I do a fun live stream. Welcome. All right. So Sharon, hey.
Hey,
Sharon and I met about 4 minutes ago
we
for
did.
the first time. All right. So Sharon, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and just chat and be my interviewer for the day, for the morning.
You are so welcome. This is so exciting to me. I'm always watching your live streams or any videos you post. So this is flipping this on its ear, and I'm excited to be.
Good. I'm super glad. Okay. So introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are, where you are, what you do.
What you do. Okay. So of course, my name is Sharon Coleman. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I provide therapy for people with a variety of issues: anxiety, depression, stress, things like that. But I also geared my practice intentionally to help Black women because I quickly realized that there weren't enough Black therapists intentionally gearing their practice toward Black women. So that's what I do. So, and I'm also a registered yoga teacher. So I also teach people mindfulness and yoga because we got to reduce the stress, I think, in order to start to live the life that we really want to live.
Absolutely. Sharon's Instagram and YouTube channel links are in the description of this video already. Okay. So you can follow Sharon on Instagram and on YouTube. On Instagram, she is A Fit Life Center. I think if I copy and paste, uh, s- hold on, bear with me for 1 second so that I can make sure that you can see that. So that, yeah. Oh, actually, I can't. My computer's like, no, thanks. Hold on. Copy. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to ask some questions. Hopefully, I gave Sharon a couple questions. Sharon's going to have some of her own questions, I think, and y'all are going to ask some questions in the chat, and that's what we're going to do. Okay. So this is Sharon's Instagram, A Fit Life Center, and the link to her YouTube channel is also in the description already of this video, and or you could just search A Fit Life Center. Okay.
Yep, it's a Fit Life Center everywhere.
All right. Very good. And so this is our very first we just for the last we met like I said 4 or 5 minutes ago. And so all of this is new, but I do know a secret that Sharon has a special like announcement as well, like a secret announcement as well. So let's get into it. I'm talking house sitting, Sharon. I just mean that I'm gonna spoil it. Okay, let me spoil it. Sharon has booked a house sit. Okay. So let's go. What do we want to? Do you have a first question?
I do. I want to ask, why is the sabbatical important to you?
I that's okay. I quit my job in 2015 to take a year off from work. At that time, I called it a gap year, a grown-up gap year, because I knew that like college kids sometimes did that. They took a year in before college or after college, right? Um, I thought it was just going to be a chance to travel. Turns out it changed my life, and I get a chance to talk to Black women who have never had any time where they don't have to work, right? Who have never had any time in their whole adult life where they weren't working. And in the US, it's not like in some countries, at least you can get a year of maternity leave, right? I'm not saying maternity leave is not working, right? Staying home and taking care of your family is work. But at least they get some sort of pause where work is not the center of their life. In the US, you don't even get that, right? You don't even get maternity leave. So,
Mhm.
while I was on the gap year, while I was on the sabbatical, I made a list of women who I thought could use this. Right? I did. I made a list of women who I thought, I hope that she will quit her job and travel for a while too, right? She loves travel and she works all the time. She's a hard worker, which to me is not a positive, right? To me, the term hard worker is not a compliment. But I knew some Black women who were hard workers and who love travel, and I thought would really benefit from a whole lot of time of not working. I think it's important for, as you know, Sharon, I think it's important for mental and physical health, right, and wellness. It's also just important so that you can know who you really are. What are you really into? Right. I promise you don't know. I promise you, if your whole life has been about work, if every week of your life has been dictated by a job
Yeah.
for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know what you're into. You don't know what you like. You don't know, right? You just have not
Yeah.
had the time. Not your fault. Have not had the time. So the sabbatical is important to me because I want us to thrive. This is life is not a dress rehearsal. I'm gonna say all of my expressions at one time. Life is not a dress rehearsal. This is our shot. This is our chance. And I think
Mhm.
that the sabbatical is the path, the key to living a life where you thrive. And that's what I want for Black women. I want Black women to thrive and have joy and peace.
Yeah. It what you're saying seems so radical, right? When you think about the way we live our lives here in the United States, right? It's a radical thought that we're important, that you should rest,
Hmm.
that you should take time to get to know what you want, right?
Right.
How did you get to the point where you became a person that was like, look, I'm just going to take the break. I'm going to stop and I'm going to figure this out? Because it's not something you hear all the
No,
time.
no. Some of this is not going to be helpful to some of y'all, okay? So I have never been a hard worker, okay? I have never been a person who dedicated my life to work and striving and achieving. And so it wasn't that hard. It was for me, it wasn't that hard for me to be like, oh, okay, let's take a year and not work. I'd actually kind of did it when I got out of the army. When I got out of the army and got out of the army and started back at Delaware State University. I took some time there where I did nothing, right? So it was easy for me. The answer, though, for women who it's harder for, is you need to get yourself in an environment where it is more of the norm, right? This is why this channel exists, because some women are never going to do it until it is normalized. Some women are
Mhm.
always going to feel like this is not just radical but weird, and are always going to
Mhm.
fear the judgment of other people. And so you just have to move it, pick yourself up out of that environment, put yourself into an environment where this is normal, like this live stream where people are talking about every day, every live stream, someone new has started her sabbatical.
Yeah.
So the answer it was easy for me to do it, right? It was
Okay.
easy. I was afraid. I'm not saying I wasn't afraid. I was
Yeah.
afraid, but it wasn't as hard for me as it was for other women who really have committed themselves to hard work.
Yeah. Let's talk about the fear, right? Because most people are afraid. And I
Mhm.
see that come up on your channel a lot. The
Yeah,
fear of doing something different,
yeah.
of people judging you. How did you overcome the fear?
You don't overcome fear. That's a miss. That's a miss. I don't know. There's
Absolutely
a
right.
mismessaging. There's some wrong messaging. You don't overcome fear. You just do it
Yep.
anyway. It's there. It's there. It shrinks when you do something. Once you do the thing that you were afraid to do, that fear has nowhere to go. It's not the boss of you, and it shrinks up. But then you do the next thing. You think about the next thing, and the fear comes back, and it expands again. You don't. I don't. So overcoming fear is saying to me, saying, I will do it once I'm not afraid. Once I overcome the fear, then I will do the thing backwards. That's backwards. You would never achieve, start anything if you were waiting to overcome fear until that happens, to do it. So we don't overcome fear. We just get in the habit of doing things while you're afraid. That is one of my favorite tools in my toolbox. One of my favorite things about me is that I understand, I have learned that I can do it even if I'm afraid. I talk to a lot of women who just don't know that yet, who haven't learned that yet. Even though they've already done things, I don't care. If you're a mother, if you've ever been married, if you have done things that you were afraid to do, right? But
Absolutely.
when it comes to things, doing things for yourself, it's a little hard. It's a little harder to like understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you use the phrase toolbox
Yeah.
because that's what I try to teach women to cultivate a toolbox of things that they've probably been doing all the
That's
time,
right.
but they don't use them for themselves.
That's right.
Women who have children, fearless. They are fearless. I've seen women go to schools and listen, that school better be ready because they are coming, right?
Hmm.
If you mess with their kids.
Yeah.
But they don't use those tools for
That's
themselves.
right.
So how do you develop this sense of I'm going to create a set of tools for myself in order to create what I want to see? How did you start that process?
I think I just saw where I want to go, right? I have a clear vision of where I want to go. And I knew that, well, I'm going to back up. I have seen in my own life, I have seen people learn things and then put things into practice for themselves, and I've seen that work out, right? They're right. So there are two different mindsets out there. The studies say either you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset, that either you believe you are who you are and you're going to be who you are and that's it, or you have a growth mindset and you believe that you can grow, change, that we
Mhm.
human beings can grow and change and become something new. I've seen people put growth into action for themselves. And so and in looking at what they do, I just copy, right? I just copy. I don't do things from scratch, right? I don't do anything from scratch. I just copy what
Mhm.
I see other people doing. When I see other
Mhm.
people using a work skill in everyday life, I say, oh, you can use a work skill in everyday life. My dad is a good negotiator. My dad worked for DuPont and he that was his job. He
Mhm.
negotiated for the man, and he can
Mhm.
negotiate anything. And I've seen him be able to take that, lift that out of work, and move that into his life, and I benefit. Right, he's bought me many a car at many a good deal. So
Mhm.
um, I've the answer is I have seen people do that in their own lives. And then I just
Mhm.
copy it, right? You don't have to, I don't start things from ground zero. You learn from other people and pull these things into your life. It's been really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, I love that because you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? You just have to find what you need and copy what you see that works.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
So, what's in the toolbox? What skills do you use to help you do what you do?
I think learning something new and putting it into practice is a tool in my toolkit. Some of us are habitual learners. I'm going to take in the information. I'm going to research, and don't put it into practice. I think putting things into practice is a thing that um, cuts down your research time, right? This is what the Army, so another thing that the Army taught me that I still have with me today. I joined the Army at 26. I'm about to turn 48. And this lesson
Mhm.
stuck with me. The Army has like a cycle, or the military in general: shoot, communicate, move, shoot, communicate, move, shoot, communicate, move. Take some action, get your
Mhm.
data, and then take another act, make some adjustments, and then take another action, right? So that was a really helpful way to wrap up the idea of putting things into practice before you do all of this other research, right? Or some people call it just in time learning. Learn the thing you need to take the next step, not 10 steps down the road. That's a wonderful
Mhm.
tool that I have in my toolkit, being able to put things into practice, and not get stuck in research mode. I think that I have the tool, I'm learning the tool of collaboration and cooperation. I'm a loner. I am a loner. I know it doesn't sound right. If you met me through the YouTube channel, it doesn't sound right. It sounds like I'm making that up. But I'm a loner. I'm a hermit. I'm a daydreamer. I live in my head. I have a whole fantasy life, a whole life that is not in the real world. Okay. But I've learned to collaborate and cooperate with other people, particularly Black women,
Mhm.
because they make everything better. I always say that about Rashida. Rashida makes things better. I may come to Rashida with an idea, but Rashida makes the idea better. It's not going to be good until Rashida gets involved, right? Rashida Dow, who is Rashidah's on the loose. So collaboration and cooperation are in my toolkit. Doing things when I'm afraid are in my toolkit. I'm learning to ask specifically for help. Asking for help is not in my nature as well, right? I don't know that I've ever seen my dad ask for help except for like he's working on a car and can you come and help him bleed the brakes, right? Other than that, he's gonna do it himself. So
Okay.
learning to ask for help is another thing that I'm putting into my toolkit where I have to build in a pause and say, what do I need? What can I ask for help with? When I used to go on job interviews, that was my thing that I would say when they were like, Stephanie, what are your weaknesses? I would be like, it takes me too long to ask for help. But here's how I'm going to fix that in this job, right? Because I remember one day I was at work, I kind of worked I was a support person for a team that did something I didn't understand. They did tech stuff. I didn't understand them. But for a little while, I got to do support for them in the bank. And I deleted an entire spreadsheet and decided that I was just going to put everything back one piece at a time. And so I spent all morning doing this. I come back from lunch, I go back to doing it, and then one of the men walks by. He was a PhD, and like the kind of person that I was super intimidated to tell that I'd messed up. And I was like, Chi, we called him by their first name. Chi, I messed this up. And then he did like 4 strokes on the laptop, on the computer, and the spreadsheet was back. Right. So I had spent
Mhm.
probably 5 hours and gotten maybe 5% of the way done. It took him
Mhm.
less than 5 seconds to fix it, right? So asking for help is a tool that I need to add in my toolkit and use. That is
Yeah.
my like that is the tool that I don't want to say it's a tool I'm missing in my toolkit, but it's the tool that I need to put to work, put to use more. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
tool that's sitting there. It's a little dusty. It's dusty in the toolkit.
And it's good to know the ones that you need to upgrade, refresh, right?
Yeah.
And use more, right? Because it just makes life easier
Hmm.
when you start to use those tools.
Yeah.
We have another thing in common. So I was in the Marine Corps
Mm.
for 4 years. I went in when I was 19. Yeah, I was 19 when I went in the Marine Corps. And you're right, leaving, and I did it from home. I left my parents'
Uh-huh.
house, got on a plane for the first time in my life,
Uh-huh.
and went to Beaufort, South Carolina to the Marine
Hmm.
Corps boot camp.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know anything about the military. I was just trying to find a way to
Yeah.
do something different in my
Advance.
life, right?
Hmm.
And it did. It taught me if you can do that, you could almost do anything, right?
Hmm.
Because quickly I had to become very self reliant and
Yeah.
trust my own instincts, my own gut. And I've carried that. That's one of the tools I've carried in my toolbox since then is that the military taught me that you can do it.
Hmm. That's right.
So,
Yeah.
right, because there's not a lot of time ever in the military to think about anything, right? It's
Uh,
like you learn something and then you execute it.
that's
You
right.
learn something and you execute it, right? And if
Hmm.
you don't, they have a little meeting afterwards if it didn't quite go right. What didn't go right? All
That's
right, do it again.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I think I would still be a person who researched and studied forever and ever if I hadn't gotten those lessons and saw it work. See it work, right? We go out, we do this thing, we come back, we have the after action review. Let's review it so that we can adjust and do it again. That was
Exactly.
really a valuable lesson to see it put into practice. Yeah, we do
Yes.
have a lot in common. I saw a comment on here that said you're an example of stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I don't know if you told everybody Sharon is not only doing this at the very last minute, but she's in Phoenix, Arizona. So it's it's not even daytime in Arizona. It's so early.
I gotta tell you, I woke up and I saw Stephanie sent me a DM through Instagram. It was like 5:45, right? And I was like, you know what? Girl, get up and put your earrings on, find some lip gloss, let's go.
You look so good for it to be, it's like the middle of the night. As far as I'm concerned, it's still the middle of the night for you.
I called my sister Regina, which, hey girl, I saw you pop up there. Thanks for the support. Um, and she said, "Are you going to do it?" I said, "Yes, I am going to do it. Yes, yes, I." So I made some tea and made this bun, and here we are, right?
Thank you so much. I promise y'all, I promise y'all, I do value sleep. And if I had known, I would not have sent the email. I would not, or I would have done something. We would have scheduled it for a different time or something. If I had known you were in Phoenix, I do value sleep. I need to make that clear to everybody. I get my sleep.
Listen, I'm so glad you didn't know. I've gotten a good night's sleep,
Okay.
and this is going to be a great way to start the day,
Yeah.
right? To have this opportunity, because I would have been up anyway watching
Right.
the live anyway, because it's always so valuable. It always gives me something else to think about and ways to challenge myself to do more.
Good.
And when I say do more, I mean do more in terms of resting.
I get it. Yeah. Do more to do
Right?
less. Do more less.
Right. So speaking of Rashida, how did you two come to work together? Because I remember seeing something saying that you two didn't meet before you started working together.
Rashida and I made big projects together and money, decent money together before we ever met. Rashida had been documenting her own career break. Rashida and I were basically out on sabbatical at the same time, out in the world
Uh-huh.
traveling and posting it on Instagram. And we had a mutual Instagram follower named Courtney, who asked me a few questions and asked Rashida a few questions because Courtney was about to go out on her own career break. She asked me questions about packing, and I think she asked Rashida some different questions about like locations, where should I go and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, by the way, have y'all met? Do you know Rashida? Do you know Stephanie?" We're like, "No, hi, nice to meet you." Rashida already, let me think about this. This was after we came back. Courtney started following us while we were on our sabbaticals, but she connected us after we came back from our sabbaticals. Rashida had a YouTube channel, and she was like, "Hey, can I interview you on my channel?" And I was like, "Yes." When Rashida interviewed me, I just liked her. I didn't know, like I didn't know her, and but I liked her. And I did something. My laptop battery died, and I was in a house sit, and I couldn't figure out where the outlet was to plug in my laptop in the middle of the recording. And she was organized and efficient, yet kind and nice. And so after the interview was over, I was like, "Rashida, that was super fun. Now, do you want to do a thing where we interview 12 women on our channels together? Like, let's make something." And she said, yes. That's how we got together. That's how we started doing things. A third party, Courtney, connected us. Another Black woman connected us. And then we just tried things. Let's do one interview. Okay. Now let's do a series. Let's do 12 interviews. Okay. Now let's do a virtual summit. Okay. Now let's do an in-person event. Okay. Right. Yeah, just because, I liked her. And she didn't seem like she was going to be, my concern when working with people is, are they going to be a perfectionist who is we're never going to finish the project? And are they just going to be a bad person, like not a nice person? And then are they going to share a message that I don't agree with, right? I knew Rashida was into rest. I knew Rashida was into rest for Black women. If she had been a hustle, grind, no sleep person, never. It never would have worked out. So I think it was just like, thanks to Courtney, and thanks to ideas and yeses, thanks to ideas and being open to things, we've done some things. We have changed Black women's lives. We have changed Black women's lives. Just because Courtney was like, "Oh, do y'all know each other?"
You two really have changed Black women's lives for the better. And I'm wondering, there's so much belief that we are not for each other,
Yeah.
that we can't trust each other, which I got to tell you, that is my pet peeve of life message that's sent out there, because 99.9% of what I do has come from other Black women
That's
helping
right.
me get here. If
That's
it
right.
hadn't been my mom, my sister,
Mhm.
you, Rashida, and my co-workers, right?
Mhm.
When I left working for agencies, when I realized that
Yeah.
that was a loaded, you know. They said to me, why are you still there? You can do it, right? And one of Dr. Michelle Melton gave me a shot, right, at
Mhm.
becoming a private practice therapist, another Black woman. How did you start to trust and know that you could trust Rashida
Mhm.
and that you could do some great work to help other Black women?
You're so right that a lot of women, a lot of Black women do feel like that Black women are so competitive and Black women are. I feel for you because I don't have that experience. Can't relate. Can't, I'm sorry. I can't relate to that. For my birthday. So my mom, I just interviewed my mom a couple weeks ago, and she talked about for her birthday she was going to reach out to 75 people. For my birthday, my 48th birthday, I have a list already of 24 Black women. I'm not doing 48, okay? I'm not doing 48. 48 is a big number, okay? But I have a list of 24 Black women who will stand in proxy for more Black women,
Mhm,
who just helped me, right?
mhm,
For no, with no expectation of any reciprocity. I can't give you anything, right? 48,
mhm,
right? So that's been my life. That's been my
mhm,
experience. I went to school in elementary, middle school, high school. I went to school in Ohio, in Westerville, Ohio, with white
mhm,
people. And I know the difference between community with white people and community with Black people, in particular Black women.
mhm.
I really I hear women out here talking about Black women are competitive and Black. I can't relate. Alicia Renice, hi Alicia, good morning. Alicia Renice has a video coming up on her channel specifically about this, about Black
Mhm,
women are not your competition.
mhm,
I have not experienced that in my life. Coming up with the list of 24 was easy. I got the list already, right? I made the list already so that when I am ready to do the video, I can just do the video. Coming up with the list of 24 was easy. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all in the chat can tell us what does it look like when you don't have support of Black women? Because seriously, I'm not even not joking. I can't relate. I don't know. I don't know what that's like.
yeah.
So it
I
was
have to
easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I don't quite understand it either, because the women in my community, the Black women in my
Mhm.
community, when I ask them a question, they are on it. They will
Yeah.
give me more information than I can
That's
even
right.
prove, right?
That's
And
right.
if I can, I'm having this thing, can you help me? They will show up. So
Mhm.
I hear it, but I don't know where it comes from. So
Mhm.
I would like to know, people who haven't had that experience, tell us, what
Yeah.
does it look like? And are you in the right circles?
That's
Because
right.
that's the question that makes me wonder. Are you in the right circles for what you need? Because if you are wanting to rest and you're in a circle that says do more,
Mhm.
you're not going to get the information you need,
Mm-mm.
right? You're going to get opposite information.
That's right.
So, yeah, let us know. But Stephanie, I'm wondering, you mentioned house sitting, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Are you house sitting anytime soon? And how did you get into house sitting? I know you've talked about this, but it
Yeah.
might be new people on here that need to
Yes.
know.
I love house sitting. I'm not house sitting right now. I'm with my parents in exotic Dover, Delaware. I left the Caribbean. I left Curacao, certain that I had missed winter weather, but man, we having winter weather this weekend. I guess it's not winter weather. It's just like not spring weather. Like I
Mhm.
think the high tomorrow is 49 degrees. That's not what you asked me. So the answer is I'm looking for house sits as we speak. I'm looking to get a little further south. Me and my car, I'm looking to get in the car and go a little further south as we speak. I started house sitting because after I took that sabbatical, after I took that year of not working and came back, I was like, I want to keep it going, right? I don't want to go back to work and just taking 2 weeks of vacation out of the year. And because I never stayed at a job long enough to get more, right? I hardly ever had more than 2 or 3 weeks of vacation for the whole year. So I was like, well, Google, how can I travel with no money? And Google was like, you should be a house sitter. And so I started. I got my Trusted House Sitters membership and then was afraid to apply for house sits because I was like, are white people going to let me house sit for them? Because I didn't know. I didn't know, right? Who knew? Who knew? I probably can count on one hand the number of white people's homes I've been in. And I grew up with white people, like my friends in middle school and elementary school, some of my friends, some were white people. So I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then someone on the platform reached out to me. Can you house sit for me? Emergency. And that's how I got started. I got started house sitting because I just wanted to do more traveling and I didn't want to pay for it, right? I wanted to do more traveling and I didn't want to pay for my accommodation. House sitting is not going to pay for everything. You still have to pay to get yourself to the house sit. You still have to pay for your food, right? And whatever else. But that free accommodation meant I got to reimagine my whole life. Once I committed to, I'm going to house sit year round. I'm not going to have a home and then just go on vacations. I'm going to house sit all the time. That I got to reimagine my whole life, right? What does it look like if you don't have to pay rent or mortgage? It's pretty freeing, I'll tell you. It's freeing. It looks freeing. It feels freeing. It is freeing. So once I started doing that, I got to just build my life from starting on a whole different platform. So it's been wonderful. So I'm looking to house it this spring.
I've been always curious. How did you find Trusted House Sitters? I'd never heard of that before you.
I know. This is why the internet is so wonderful. I seriously, literally Googled how to travel with no money, and a blog post from Nora Dunn, who was the professional hobo, came up in the search results. Nora Dunn was a woman in her 30s who was house sitting sometimes through Trusted House Sitters in South America and Central America, I think. I think she was in like Colombia, Panama, and because she was in her 30s and not like a 21-year-old, like all the travel bloggers at the time seemed to have been 21-year-old Australian kids, because she was an adult, I took her word for it. Basically, I took her word for it. She had house sat through Trusted House Sitters. She had a fine experience. I think she liked it, right? Based on her blog post. So I went ahead and took the leap, right? Went ahead and joined. It's wonderful. Trusted House Sitters was pretty new at the time. They're growing and expanding, and they're seeing more people on both sides, house sitters and clients who aren't the typical, right? So that their typical client and house sitter in the beginning was a white retiree. And now they're seeing more digital nomads, more people on career break and on sabbatical, more Black women, more Black and brown people in general starting to house sit. So it's a wonderful place. It's a wonderful place on the internet.
So, Stephanie, you alluded to my secret, right? And so
Yeah,
I have finally signed up for I got two house sits, right? Coming up, one in July and one in October.
wonderful.
And um, it was, I have to tell you, I had to take my fear with me because at first I was like, from Black people, going to sit in somebody else's house, right? It was like,
Mhm.
I had to get over that thing, right? And then think about what you said. You said this is a free way to travel. So if I pay my way there, I don't have to pay $1,000 or more for an Airbnb or a hotel, right?
Mhm.
And then what happened was I was amazed to find out how kind people were.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any references, right? I didn't have any references. I'm new, right? So I'm like, hi, I want to sit in your house and I don't have any references.
Mm.
And I thought, surely I'm not, no one's going to no one's going to pick me. But
Uh-huh.
two people did
Yes.
pick me. And they were one lady, she had never done it before
Right.
either. And
Right.
she was like, well, we'll figure it out together.
Hmm.
And then I remember thinking, you said, make it easy. Don't make it hard, right? So I was like, I want an easy house sit where they have
Hmm.
an easy pet and I don't have to do a lot. The pet just needs to be fed
Uh-huh.
and loved. I grew up with pets my whole life.
Good.
That was my whole criteria.
Good. Yes, that's right.
And it worked. And so far it is working. And I am just grateful to you and amazed at the same time that I'm able to travel in this way. Is
That's
it
right.
any tips that you would offer me or other listeners about what to either write in on their trusted house sitters? You know, the little blurb where you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
What they might write or what they should expect.
Remember that the first, where are your house sits? Are they local?
Oh, yes, so I'm going local first to get my feet wet, right?
Good.
So I'm going to Seattle, and then I'm going to go to Atlanta.
That's not local. You live in Phoenix. That's not local, Sharon.
That's local to me. I love to travel, so I was like, I'm going to stay in the United States
Wow.
so that I can test it out, right, before I take it global, because I am taking that thing global for
Yes,
sure. If
ma'am.
it
Yes, indeed. Okay, yeah. House sitting is um, advice for you asked me for advice for people on their profiles. Remember that these are regular people who just want to make sure that they bring somebody in they can trust to take care of their home, and most of the time their pets. Almost all house sits today are pet sits because of COVID, right? People aren't people. House sits that aren't pet sits are usually people who are going for months and months at a time. COVID has said, y'all ain't going nowhere for months and months at a time to a lot of people. So most house sits are pet sits. Yeah, make sure that you let your personality shine through. That people will like you. Somebody will like you out there in the world. So make sure that your profile shows a little bit of your personality, right? My profile and the email that I send tells them I will cuddle, right? I'm staying home because I am a homebody. I'm staying home a lot of the time. I work from my laptop, and I will be here cuddling with your cat or your dog, right? They're not going to feel like, oh, she gone all day, right? That's just not the kind of person I am. I'm not a gone all day kind of person. So, but put your personality in there. If you're house sitting because you want to travel and you want to go to Seattle and you want to go to the fish market and the Space Needle, talk about how much you love travel and how house sitting is a wonderful way for you to see new things, right? If you're going to house sit in a place where you have family, say that, right? I would love to house sit for you so that I can visit my family who lives in whatever town, right? Let your personality shine through. And then don't feel like you don't fear rejection, right? Don't be afraid of, don't get upset when people don't reply or they drop off. Some people don't really know if they're going on the trip yet. They post the house sit and then they decide, oh, I'm not going on this trip actually. Or my date's completely changed or whatever. So don't get too upset about the silence. Just keep applying, right? Keep going until you get the yes or yeses. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm so excited. Okay, yes, Seattle and Atlanta are not local house sits. So congratulations.
You. I'm thinking local as in the United States. Goal was to travel abroad,
Yeah.
right? And so I
Hmm.
thought I don't want to do a pet sit or a house sit before I've tried it locally, right? Like
Yeah.
I want to be able to get back to my own house in a couple hours. That's
That's
what I
fair.
thought.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, I can go home, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. If it doesn't work in Seattle, it's going to take you some effort to get back home. It's good though. It's good. I think that house
Yeah.
sitting is kind of like yoga probably, where there was a time when it was like, oh, black people don't do that, right? That's weird and strange, and black people don't do that. Yes, we do. We do it. We benefit from it, and we love it. And it can change our lives, or it can at least just give us the chance to take a vacation when we otherwise wouldn't have been able to afford a vacation. You don't have to house sit long term and full time. You can just house sit for a 4 day weekend when you need to go somewhere and get some time out of your space in a new space. House sitting can work for that too.
Yes. And yes, you're right. When I started practicing yoga, there was no Black
Mhm.
people in any class. I'm from Arizona, so if you've been in Arizona, you know it's predominantly white
Mhm.
in a lot of spaces, right? And
Mhm.
so I would go in the class and I would be the only Black person, and I would be
Mhm.
thinking, this is we are the ones that experience a lot of stress
Yeah,
from all of
we need it.
the negativity that we get, right? And so that's why I became a yoga teacher, because I
Yeah.
was like, I'm going to purposely teach Black people how to breathe,
Uh-huh.
relax, and know what they need for themselves, right?
Mhm.
Because we're going to take over the world eventually. They just don't
Yes.
know it yet.
Yes. Yeah. We're the ones who need it. Same with house sitting. Like we're the ones who need it. We're the ones who need either the free accommodation or we're the ones who need someone to come in and take care of our responsibilities a while we go out and travel. If you're on the client side of house sitting. Like we're the ones who need it. I'm not gonna be afraid to spread the word out in there. That's what YouTube has done, right? YouTube means that both of us, we both have YouTube channels. YouTube means that we get to go out and spread the word, spread the gospel to the
Yes.
people who we think really need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Auntie Trey, I see you. I will be careful in Atlanta. And I've been to Seattle one time before, and I did have a ball, except it was raining all the time and it was cold. Like
Yeah.
Stephanie, cold are not that friendly. So I want to do it again. That's why I'm going in July. So it's warmer and I actually get to enjoy it.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm wondering, this just helps me transition to something else.
Okay.
There is a meetup coming soon. So I want you to tell us about the meetup and what we maybe can expect, or maybe entice some people to come.
All right. So Exodus Summit is my business with Rashida Dow. It is an annual virtual summit that helps Black women plan their sabbatical, plan their move abroad, plan their digital nomad life. Okay. It happens every year in September. This year, we're actually also doing an in-person meetup in Cancun, Mexico, and Isla Mujeres, Mexico, 4th of July weekend, July 1 through 5. If you're in the Exodus Summit Facebook group, you've gotten information about it. We're expecting 150 Black women in Cancun, 4th of July weekend, to meet each other, do a little sabbatical or career break planning, right? Maybe take a little time out to plan, but mostly to rest and to have fun. Rest and meet other women who are like you, right? We've already talked about how important it is to have like-minded people in your space, in your sphere, when you're doing something new. This is an opportunity for you to meet more of you, right? For you to meet more women who are on this same journey. The Exodus Summit Facebook group is the best place to get this information, and that is the shortest link is exodussummit.com/community. I'm going to look for the longer Facebook link and put that in here. If you're watching the replay, hello, it's already in the description. But I'm going to look for the other link, the Facebook link. But yeah, it's we are going to have a welcome party, like an evening meetup welcome party, right? We are going to have plenty of free time for you to do the things in Cancun, beach things or whatever things you want to do. We're having a boat day. We're getting on a yacht, which is all I wanted, right? All I wanted to do was to get us on a yacht. We're getting on a catamaran. We're going to sail from Cancun over to Isla Mujeres and spend some time in Isla Mujeres and then sail back. We're going to do some rest, some fun stuff, and some eating and meeting and talking and having fun. So if you're in the Facebook group, which is the Exodus Summit on Facebook, Exodus Summit, yeah, Facebook group, you'll get the information there. If you've already joined the meetup, let's see. If you've already joined the meetup, you're already in the other group, so you don't need that information. Yeah. Duala is going to be there with her mom. I'm going to be there with my mom. Rashida's going to be there with her mom. We have we're expecting 150. I believe we're close to 100 already registered. I think we already have 100 women registered, and we've released the hotel information because we have a block of rooms in the hotel that we're staying in. If you want to stay with us, a lot of the women are staying out wherever, right? Airbnbs and stuff. But if you want to stay in the hotel with us, that block of hotels is still available too. So join us at the meetup. It's not free. You have to register and pay for your ticket for the meetup. But yeah, it's going to be a super fun time. Some of these women are going to come away with like their Rashidas, right? They're like their new partner in crime, their new person. If you don't have friends who are into this thing, this is where you're going to meet them, right? This is where you're going to meet somebody who's doing something similar. I think Angela's coming. Angela's probably going to be there with teenagers, I think. Angela Martin. Patty's going to be there with her teenager. So some of you guys hopefully will meet each other, because you have different, everybody's got a different need, and you can find somebody who can help fill in that friend need during the meetup. I'm super excited about it. And it's my birthday weekend. July 5 is my birthday. So we will do some, we'll, in some type of way, maybe we'll acknowledge that too.
So let me tell you, I saw that pop up. I instantly texted my sister and I was like, you want to go? Let's go. Right?
Oh, you're going?
Yes.
Good.
So my sister and I will be
Good.
at the meetup. Her birthday is also July the 5th. And
Oh,
so celebrate her birthday as well, right? And it is going to be my jump off. So from there, I'm going to go to Mexico City for a week,
good.
hang out in Mexico City. I am so flipping excited to be 150 Black women in one place abroad. Are you playing with me? What? I can barely contain myself when I think about that, right? Because I've traveled, but it's never been where that many Black women with the common goal of rest, relaxation, and fun.
Uh-huh.
It's never been that. It's never been, first of all, geared toward Black women.
No.
And it's always work.
Yes.
And I'm always like, why is it all day? I don't want to be with you all day. I want to lay down. I want to lay at the beach. I want to have a cocktail.
Check, check, and check, right? That's all I got on the list. That's it. That's all that's on the list for that weekend, right? I'm so excited. When I tell you Sharon and I just met, I'm telling you Sharon and I just met. I'm so excited that y'all are going to be there. This is wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, when I tell you I've been following you for a long time, subscribe to your channel, because I was looking for like-minded women. I've had this in the back of my mind for a long time, right? Because I've been, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a professional, right? And I have been working all of my adult life, right? All of it. And I just, with COVID and being a mental health professional, I was exhausted because it went crazy. When COVID hit, our work as mental health providers went insane, right? And the difference was trying to keep ourselves safe, right? Because I was working in an agency. I'm trying to not contract COVID before we had vaccinations and all of that, and yet provide people with care.
Yeah.
The level of stress there was no words to actually describe it, right? And then to realize with clarity that the agencies were not for us.
Not on your side.
Nope. No. I remember the motto of one agency was agency over self. And I was like, in COVID? So you okay if I get sick? And at that point, when we didn't have vaccines, right? And I started to really see it and not know what to do about it and feeling overwhelmed, right? And then I was like, there has to be a way out, right? Because like I said, the military taught us, right? Learn, execute. Learn, execute, right? And I started to look, and that's how I found your channel. I just Googled something about Black women and traveling, right? And I found your channel, and then that led me to Rashida's channel and Adelia's channel. And it helped me start to build a plan to get out, right? I eventually quit. I took a couple months to gather myself, right? And then I started my private practice. And then I was like, I'm still tired though.
Yeah.
I'm still tired.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I have to find a way because I love what I do. How do I do what I do and not be tired
Uh-huh.
at what I do? Right.
Yes.
So, what is your advice for women who are in the middle of finding their way
Mhm.
to rest? What do you suggest that they do?
So you've already said that my ideas are radical. Listen, quit your job. Leave. Leave it. Leave it. Find something, find some way to make this work for you. If it's house sitting and, teaching English online 2 hours a day so you have money for food, is house sitting and teaching English online 2 hours a day, right? I think I I th- think that the idea of not having a job only sounds strange in this country. There are places or not having us or taking a significant time where you don't work sounds strange in this country. But there are places where it's perfectly normal. I use the Germans as an example all the time because you can't travel out in the world and not run into some Germans who are out for a month or 2 months or 3 months. Their jobs actually just give them sabbatical leave, right? So they don't even have to quit. But it sounds radical to us, not necessarily radical in other parts of the world. Take massive, I'm okay with the massive action. Yes, well, I want you to take some action. I'm also okay with if that action is massive, if it's radical. If you are, particularly for women who are on the verge of breaking down, right? If you're on the verge of just completely burning out, completely breaking down, find a way to make this work. This is why I bring on so many women who talk about the different ways that they make it work for them. Quit your job is number one. Number two, right? Of course, I'm going to always say find community, find places where this is more normalized. Number three, then find what is going to be the new path forward for you. You may not figure that out for a while. It may take you a long time to figure out the new path forward. But don't go back to the same, even if you go back to the same type of work, don't go back to the same grind, don't go back to the same hustle, don't go back to the same um, expectation that your job is your main life's priority. But seriously, seriously, my whole channel exists because I wanted these 8 women to quit their jobs and travel for a while. I mean that. I'm not kidding when I say quit your job. But find a way. I know that everyone has to do things a different way. Find a way. I have 189 videos now, or maybe this might be 190. And I've talked to a lot of different women who have done things a lot of different ways. For some women that like you, for some women that is first going from a job to seeing clients on my own, right? Which can be a big pressure release, right? A big reliever of pressure. I don't have the job telling me who to see, what to do, whatever. I see clients as I want. I choose who I want to see, when I want to see them. I charge what I want to charge, right? Uh, and I don't have to deal with insurance companies if I don't want to, these kind of things. But as you've seen, and as I've seen when I talk to a lot of women, the real need is significant time where you don't work, like significant time, not a couple of weeks, not a vacation. And so I'm excited that Mexico is going to be the jumping off point for you. I think it's also for Angela. I've mentioned Angela a couple times. Hey, Angela. I think it's also the jumping off point for her family's sabbatical, like her whole family's move abroad life. Yeah. And a couple of women. So this is a good, wonderful timing.
Yes. Hi, Angela. That is so awesome that she's doing that with her whole family,
Hmm.
and that says a lot. If Angela can do it with her whole family, surely, if you are a woman and it's just you, there's a way that you can do it on your own,
There's
right?
some way.
With just thinking about what you need to make that happen. So, you mentioned burnout. And would you know, in my work, I've found that women don't necessarily know what burnout is
Ah,
or what it feels like, right?
okay.
They will think, they just need a good night's sleep, right?
Mm,
Or go get your nails done or your hair
yeah.
done, right? And you're going to be okay. But burnout really starts with something called compassion fatigue.
Mm.
And that's something that we probably need to start thinking about. Because listen, I loved your video, this last one you did, where you like, I reject this idea that Black women are caping for the world.
Mhm.
I'm with you. I wanted to high five the flipping screen because I was like, that's right.
Mhm.
Listen, you screwed it up, you fix it. I'm out.
That's it.
I'm out,
That's
right?
it.
And
Mhm.
I think that's what kept compassion fatigue, right? We keep showing up to
Mhm. Yeah.
fix anything. If it's in our families and it's not going well, it's our responsibility to fix it. If
Mhm.
it's at work and it's not going well, we believe it's our responsibility to fix it.
That's
If
right.
it's in our government and it's not going well, it is our responsibility to fix it,
Mhm.
whether we are the politician or the voter, right?
Right.
It's our responsibility. And after a while, you start to feel it in your body,
Mhm.
right? Your shoulders start to droop. You start to not want to get up in the morning.
Mhm.
You don't want to face your day,
Yeah.
right? You start eating more, drinking more,
Mhm.
trying to find something to give you a quick fix, right? To
Yep.
energy. That is compassion fatigue.
Mhm.
And eventually it leads to burnout and physical illness, right?
Yes.
Have you noticed that when women come to you that they are starting to talk about those kinds of symptoms?
I the women who come to me have already been diagnosed at this point, right?
They've
Hopefully,
already
I'm hoping to find women sooner and sooner, right? I'm hoping to reach people sooner and sooner. But the women who come to me have already been diagnosed by them, by a professional or some, they already know that they're
Mhm.
past the point, or they're at the point of burnout or beyond. I like not I like, but compassion fatigue is a really good way to explain this, particularly to women who are in some sort of um, um, profession that is like a helper profession, right? The social
Mhm.
workers, the nurses, the doctors,
Mhm.
that's a wonderful way
Mhm.
to look at it, because I think that is more concrete. I think it would probably be easier for a woman to say, yeah, compassion fatigue, I'm there, right? It's my job to
Mhm.
feel this type of way. I don't feel this way anymore. I no longer can do my job adequately and appropriately. It's time
Mhm.
for me to step away for a while. But yeah,
Yeah,
I find women come to me a little right now because this
mhm.
is it's a new thing. It's a weird concept here. Most women
Mhm.
already have been diagnosed with something.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that, right? That they've already know it. Because
Yeah.
here's the thing. When you start to feel compassion fatigue, like the reason why I'm using it is because we don't have a name for it,
Mm-hmm.
right? When it starts to happen to you, you usually don't have a name for it. I am a mental health professional, and when it started happening to me, I didn't recognize it
Mm-hmm.
at first, right? Because it's like slow, right? And it creeps up on you, right? And you start to notice that you're more irritable.
Mm-hmm.
Everything starts getting on your last nerve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the things that you normally do to help yourself, exercise, those things that people tell you that we should do,
Mm-hmm.
exercise, right? Socialize, do things that you are pleasurable, enjoyable to you. They stop working over
Mm-hmm.
time,
Yeah.
right? Because what you're saying, Stephanie, is true. You need rest,
Yeah.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you can get that rest sooner, you don't have to experience burnout.
That's right.
Because compassion fatigue is the sign that says, I'm doing too much. I saw somebody pop up on there on the screen and said that they're a single mom. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a big, yeah, because they don't have any, really, there's no resources for single moms,
No.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, whatever happens, you just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep going, right? And you can only do that for so long before your body, your mind, and your emotional stability start to suffer,
That's right.
right? And yes, eternity evolves as it weighs on your physical health. That's right. When we say disease, right? Diseases, hypertension, diabetes, things like that, right? But think of the word dis-ease.
Mm-hmm.
It's unease in your physical body that starts to manifest as illness.
Mm-hmm.
And we're afraid to take a break because our society does not say it's okay. That's why I'm always amazed, Stephanie, at your mom. I love that your mom is so supportive of you, and she joins you in places. Because typically what I hear is women's families tell them that they give them the message that they have to keep working hard.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did your mom become such a support for you in taking a sabbatical for yourself, or was she supportive at the beginning?
In the beginning, her issue was never with me not working. Never. Neither
Mm-hmm.
one of my parents cared when I said, "Oh, I'm not going to work." And right, that wasn't the issue. They were very scared when I told them where I was going. I'm going to Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia, and the Philippines. That was super scary to them. The idea of me not working and figuring things out for a while, okay, do it, whatever, right? So, some of this is I'm the youngest child, right? They're like, whatever. Do whatever you want. That's kind of been my whole upbringing.
Yeah.
My upbringing was do whatever you want. But they were never concerned with me not working. They were never vested in the hard work life, right? Even though they
Mm-hmm.
themselves were hard workers. I think that we sometimes misinterpret. So yes, some women's families do say, no, you have to stick in this role as the superhero. You have to wear this cape. But my parents were never into that. They were just into the make sure that you have a plan, right? Do you have a plan A and do you have a plan B? They, but I did see them as hard workers, and I do
Mm-hmm.
now recognize that their focus wasn't on the being a hard worker. It was on the benefits, right? On what a hard worker could reap in their
Mm-hmm.
lifetime. They went from my dad worked in the GM plant. My dad worked for GM, put himself and my mom through college, and they had two kids in daycare, right? Like that was they went from seeing that being a possibility in life to like you can work full time and your wife can work full time. Y'all can't afford a home, and they own a home. Right. To not right now, people cannot, you can't have two incomes. You can have people with two incomes and two kids in daycare. Y'all can't afford to do anything. Y'all not taking vacations. Y'all don't have a home. So they have seen the deterioration of the American dream to a point where they were not vested in me being a hard worker. They were not vested in me being a person who does things, who follows this particular path, because they saw the path is destroyed, right? The path is overgrown with with brush, right? So it was, that part wasn't too difficult. I think
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of Black women though do have family who actively fight against them when they decide that they're going to take this cape off. um,
Mm-hmm.
if you're if you're not prepared for that, you have to get prepared for that. That's the thing that a therapist or a counselor can help you prepare for. How to change your role in your family, in your relationship, because that they're the biggest stumbling block, right? They're going to be the biggest roadblock for some people, between you and peace of mind, between you and wellness, real wellness. And so you're going to have to get some help, get somebody in to help you. When you need help, you have to get help. You don't have to try to either figure out how to navigate the situation on your own or just fold, right? Just give in.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you can learn to slowly, like if you're not radical like Stephanie, right? And just like, right. And I'm about that radical life, because sometimes you do have to, in order to make a change, you have to do something radical for yourself
Yeah,
and allow people to catch up with you,
that's right. That's
right?
right.
But
That's
if you can't do that, I respect that, right? But you have to start with maybe thinking about two small things that you can slowly stop doing.
mm,
So if you are a woman that thinks you have to cook a fresh, hot meal 7 days a week, try five,
uh,
right? Five. And see what happens when they're like, oh, where's the food? It's leftovers in the refrigerator. That's all I got for you. And watch yourself sit with that, because you're going to feel, you as the person that is the giver, you will feel uncomfortable for a while because you're used to being in that role,
that's right.
right? But when you start to take that role off, what you will notice is people will push against it
Mm,
for a while, and then they will get used to it over time, right? And it will build your confidence. Here's the other thing. If they don't, if you are in relationships where they become manipulative,
Mm-hmm.
assertive,
Mm-hmm.
overbearing when you want to stop, now you have to think about what's happening in that relationship.
Yeah.
That's a different problem, right? I just want to throw that out there because there's 404 women on here, right? And that tells me that there is quite a few women that might be, hey, y'all, that might in a relationship where they want to take a break, but for a lot of various reasons that we're not talking about today, they can't just easily do that. That's where, if you find yourself in that kind of position, you want to start, you want to find a therapist in your area to help you start unraveling that because you can't live like that, right? I
That's
see
good.
somebody exit his life that she stopped cooking a year ago,
Uh-huh.
right? I did the same thing. And now she only cooks twice a month. I started off with unraveling this thing with the Thanksgiving meals. I was
Okay.
like, who cooks for 8 hours a day for people to eat for 30 minutes for Thanksgiving? I'm over it. And one year I was just like, I'm not doing it.
Uh-huh.
Let somebody, I'll make a reservation, but I'm not cooking.
How did that
Right.
go
And
over?
it didn't at first. It didn't, right? They were like, where are the greens and the candy yams and the blah, 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 and the sweet potato pie. I was like, I don't know. I don't know where it is. But I'm not doing it, right? And everybody's face was long, and I got the side eye, and the kids looked like they were going to just fall out, from whatever, right? And
Greens deprivation.
green deprivation, right? That's a new diagnosis, right? In the Black community, collard green deprivation, right? Deprivation. But you know what I noticed over time? My anxiety about not doing it decreased.
Okay.
And then they started asking me, are you cooking or are we going out?
Uh-huh.
I said, they can adapt.
Yes.
They can adapt.
Yes.
And now when I do cook, it's like a party. They're like, Mom, cook. I'm like, yes, you better come get it. Because I'm not home, right? Mom is not at home.
Yeah.
Oh, I should call before I just show up because I might not be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
We have to teach people to adapt to new
Mm-hmm.
in our lives, right? And if you can't do it radically, do it slowly
Okay.
to give yourself and them a chance to adjust, right? And
So
those of you that can do radical, do radical.
so Sharon said, she said she gave you the homework. Pick two things that you're going to drop now, right? Pick
Mhm,
two responsibilities that have fallen on your shoulders that you are going to
mhm.
jettison, right? We're going to drop this is off, brush it off, right? Pick two things now. She didn't say one, okay? She said
Yeah,
at least two things. Okay, that was good info. And then if the person or the family instead of just being resistant, if they become manipulative, you need to get help.
yeah.
Good info. Good info from our licensed clinical social worker interviewing guest. Thank you.
We put that out there, right? Because there's lots of reasons why women struggle,
Mhm,
right? This their internal dialogue, and it could be what's happening in their environment, right?
mhm.
But there's ways to overcome both of them.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean you have to be stuck. You just have to get the information you need to get yourself unstuck.
good. Yeah, I
Is
agree with
there
that. I'm down with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're gonna get free one way or the other, right? And if we have to go slow, go slow. If
Mhm.
you can go faster, go faster.
Kick in the
Find
door.
ways. Yeah, that's what I love about your channel, Rashida's, and Adelia's channel.
Mhm.
It gives you various ways of looking at it, from
Yeah,
looking at your finances
yeah.
to like you don't have to be rich. You don't
Hmm.
have to be rich or have a big investment. You can still figure out a way to travel. Don't get your nails done. Put that $50 in the bank and save it towards your travel.
Yeah,
Save it for yourself to get free, right?
yeah.
So Is there anything that you haven't said, right? You said you have 189
Yeah.
videos, maybe this is 190, right? And going forward, is there anything else that you think that women should know in order to start moving forward in their lives?
What a good question. So I think I've done a good job of addressing like some of the money alternative, like some of the ways to get the money together, right? Do you need a remote job? Do you need to just have, some of y'all have the money. Some of y'all got the rental income or the investment income or whatever. Do you need maybe to start, maybe it is move to an online business or service. I think I've done a good job with that. I've done a good job of talking about locations, right? How to choose the places that you would like to visit. So I think I've done a good job with that. I've done a thorough job talking about house sitting as an option.
Mhm.
I think maybe we could talk. I think I think we could talk more about dating. There are some things that are important to Black women that we just don't get to talk about, right? Nobody gets to say, "Hey, I want a relationship. I want a partnership," because we it's another part of that strong Black woman mythos. Another part of that is that we don't need no man. And no, we don't. But maybe we want one, or a person. Maybe we want that. So I think I
Mhm.
could do a better job talking about dating
Mhm.
and relationships for Black women, particularly Black women like me. I'm on my way to 50. Uh, so yeah, I think that that's something that we could do a better job of here. Now, am I going to do a better job of it? Probably not. That's not a commitment. Don't take that as a commitment from me. But there are other women out there with YouTube channels who are willing to talk more about dating. Um, but I think that's an important part. If you want to talk about living a 360-degree life for Black women, so
Right.
there are some things that we want to add in, not just some things we want to take out, right? So we want to take work has a big old slice of the pie. We want to shrink the work slice, but we do want some personal life stuff. So I think
Mhm.
that is a place that I've done not as much as I could. And then maybe just some talk about the free time. I talk about the free time sometimes in terms of doing the things that you've wanted to do that you've put on hold. But I don't know that I've talked enough about the free time to do really, literally nothing, right? I've talked about having free time, taking a sabbatical so that you can travel, which is a thing. Travel is effort and work. It wears you out. Y'all know this, right? Travel is work, or can be. And I've talked about taking the sabbatical, and I've talked about taking time away to write or to do art. But I don't know that I've talked enough about literally doing nothing. What does it look like and feel like when you really literally spend some time doing nothing? What happens to your mind? How does your brain change, right? When you get to listen to your thoughts, what happens to your thoughts? And how do
Mhm.
those thoughts change over the course of time when you're doing nothing? Yeah, I'd like to talk that kind of talk. Maybe some talk about meditation a little bit more, or different forms of meditation a little bit more, because really, like you time away from work can really create a void and a vacuum, and it can play tricks on your mind, and you have to be
Mhm.
prepared for that. So those are things that I think that we could do a little better on this channel.
Yeah. I think that's really some great areas to cover, right? Because I hear people always mention dating on your channel,
Mhm.
right? And it's kind of like it gets brought up but not really talked
Yeah.
about. Because I think women want to know if I'm abroad and I'm relaxing, where's the partner?
Uh-huh.
Where's the boo? Right? Whatever your boo looks like, where
Uh-huh.
is he, she, it, or they? Right?
Uh-huh.
Right? And so I think that's a good topic. Also, I think you're right. When you're resting, the idea of now your mind is going to become active for a
Mhm.
while, right? How do you handle that mental activity, right? And know that it will settle itself down over
Mhm.
time, right?
Mhm.
That's why I teach people mindfulness and meditation
Yes.
strategies, right? It helps them to learn how to sit with the mental activity first, right? Because we don't try to force anything, right? We just let it be there. And then notice, if you just allow your body to relax, your mind will go with it
Mhm.
over time, right?
Yeah.
And then it'll be longer and longer time. And you also notice how many urges, right? You're
Yeah.
sitting there, you're at the beach, you're chilling, and then all of a sudden you think, I should just jump up and go unpack my suitcase, right? I should just go. Why? Right? There's no need. Right now, you're doing it to yourself. It's not
Mhm.
your environment anymore. You're doing it to yourself. It's
That's right.
right,
Hmm.
right, and you have to grapple.
Hmm.
You have to grapple with that. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have to, again, sit there long enough to notice that the urge goes away.
Hmm. Sitting with it
Right?
is something that we don't get a chance to do. We don't get it. We don't know our thoughts. We're bombarded with what we should be thinking about. We're bombarded with distraction. But we don't know what's really going on in our head. And once you get that time, you do nothing. There's something in there and it's playing on
It is.
repeat and it's going to come out. You're going to hear it.
Yes,
And it can be very scary. It can be scary.
yes, right? And it's so crazy to think that we are afraid of our own mind, but we
Uh-huh.
are, because we haven't had time to deal with it, right? That's what I noticed when the first time I traveled abroad, and maybe you've had this experience too. I was going and I was looking for like a travel cup of coffee, and they were looking at me like I was crazy. Like, why are you?
Why are you trying to
Why?
walk and drink coffee at the same time?
I was like, what do you mean? They were like, sit down. And I'm half embarrassed to admit it, but I was like, sit down. Yes, right. So the first time I sat down with my cup of coffee, with no phone, no book, no nothing, I just sat there and drank the coffee. I was so anxious,
Mhm.
and I looked around, right, and all of my European
Uh-huh.
counterparts were completely relaxed,
Mhm.
drinking their coffee, eating a pastry,
Uh-huh.
not a care in the world,
Mhm.
right? We don't know how to do that.
No, we don't. No, we
We
don't.
don't, right?
I've seen.
And so,
I had that. I had that same realization. Like I can't just sit and eat. I need to walk. Like, can I get right? For me, it's not even just coffee. Give me coffee and the breakfast sandwich. I want my breakfast in a sandwich, and I want to take it to go, and I want to walk and eat it, or drive and eat it. I do. I never realized how much eating I did in the car until I couldn't eat in the
yes,
car. I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to just sit here and only eat the food? It's
right,
weird that it's strange the things that we don't know that we do until we go out and see how other people do things and we're like, oh, they really do just sit here and drink coffee for a while, right? This table is theirs for as long as they want it. Nobody's saying, okay, get up so the next person can come.
right, right. That's the other. You can sit in a cafe for as long as you want with that one breakfast, right, or that one coffee, and nobody bothers you. They don't even bring the bill right
No,
away, right? You, when you want to go, you gotta be like, hey.
you have to wave them down. That's right. That's right. We don't sit. We don't sit in our thoughts. We don't sit with ourselves. We don't do it. So once you do it, once you start, it can be very scary. It can be even for somebody like me who is a daydreamer, who is a loner, who spent a lot of time sitting with my thoughts. I just didn't
Yeah,
realize how much time I also spent doing other things. Yeah.
yeah. And
That's a new thing.
yeah, it really is. And I hope your listeners know, your subscribers know, they can practice that at home, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to wait. They can start that right now,
Yeah.
right? Whatever time it is, make yourself a tea, a coffee, a water, and try sitting down for 5 minutes,
Hmm.
right? And just drink. Don't get up till the whole thing. You've drank the whole cup of water, tea, juice, whatever it is, right?
Hmm.
You're going to notice your mind is going to get distracted. You're going to be thinking about the laundry or whatever, right? Allow it to be there and don't react to the urge.
Hmm.
Watch what happens, right?
See what
Because
happens.
this is how you're going to prepare for the new you that
Hmm.
gets to have some rest in your
Yeah.
life. Stephanie, is there anything that I didn't ask you that we should know? Because I just I guess what I want to say to you is that I am always amazed that every week you bring us something new. Like, it's a new approach to this idea of rest,
Mhm.
right? And so I'm amazed at you. I really am. I'm saying that in all sincerity. I'm amazed at you because you've taken this idea and now over 100,000 women get to, or 100,000 people, right? I was cheering the day you hit that 100,000 mark. Like, that's 100,000 women with the idea that they can rest.
Mhm.
So what is it that maybe I haven't asked you that you want us to know?
I don't know. I think we've covered it. What do y'all think? Anybody have a question that we did not get to today that we need to cover before we leave today? I feel like we've covered it. I think that I've spent the first couple years of this channel talking about some doing, but I think that we're moving into just being. We're moving into being, and I think that I don't know. I feel like we covered it. I don't, y'all. If y'all get a question in, if you think there's something that we totally missed, but I think we've covered it. I have a I have some free
That's right.
time. I put up a thing on my community tab the other day. I have some time when I'll be in this area in within driving distance of Dover, Delaware. I'd love to do an impromptu meetup. Now, the meetup with Rashida is a meetup with like a ticket, with like a welcome party, with like a yacht, with things, a hotel. Okay. I would like to do a Stephanie Perry style meetup. As I told you, Rashida makes things better. But I would like to do a Stephanie Perry style meetup somewhere in the area with some of you guys where we just sit down somewhere and hang out for a couple hours. So if anybody has any good ideas, let me know. There's some wineries in the Virginia area, and there's a black-owned winery somewhere in Virginia. So let me know if you want to do some sort of get together within driving distance of Dover, Delaware sometime soon. But I don't. I feel like we covered it, Sharon. This has been amazing. So what happened was I asked for some, and I've asked for 5 women to email me about something else. I don't want to say it because I don't want more emails because I've gotten enough. I'm going to be able to get the 5 out of the emails that I already have. I asked for 5 for women to email me about something else. Sharon emailed me about that something else, and had enough women. So, but I was like, well, let's do this instead. And Sharon was like, okay, yes, all right. So that is the testament to just holler. Don't keep your light under a bushel, right? A lot of y'all do things. You do things. You talk about things out in the world. Don't be afraid to do that. Let people know what you do. If we're in the doing phase of life, if we're not in the being phase where we're not out doing things, which is a phase that I love, right? If we're in the doing phase, tell people what you do. Don't be afraid to shout yourself out, right? Don't be afraid to put yourself throw your hat in the ring. I don't know. I don't know any other expressions. Don't be afraid to throw your hat in the ring. Yeah, don't keep hiding your light under a bushel. If you have like a message that you share or a movement, a mission in your life, let people know. Say the word. YouTube is a wonderful place to do that. But wherever, whenever, when an opportunity comes up, don't count yourself out, right? The automatic, if your default setting is, oh, but not me, switch that setting, change that setting. Why not you? So don't count
Why
yourself
not?
out on things. When something pops up and you're interested, say the word. Yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
And I just appreciate you for giving me this opportunity. It's been amazing. I've loved your channel and I love talking about these things, right? Because I just want us to be free, to do better, and to rest more and let people clean up their own trash.
Yes, right. That's right. Yes, indeed. Sharon, tell us about your YouTube channel.
So my YouTube channel is geared toward Black women to help them learn these mindfulness and gentle yoga strategies to help you start to rest, to start to relax right where you are. I put mindfulness videos on there to help you relax at night, gentle stretches you can do to help your body be at ease. And sometimes I just have a conversation about the things that I hear all the time that prevent women from taking good care of themselves.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have conversations to challenge you to do something different. My last video, I challenged us to help support us in a better way without the judgment.
Yes.
We don't need judgment. We need support. So that's really what my channel is. And if you think that that might benefit you, check it out. There's a few. I'm just getting started. Again, I started my YouTube channel when I took your course
Yes.
on starting a YouTube channel, right? Because I was like, I want to do it, but I don't know if I want to put myself out there like that.
Yeah.
And you were like, if you have something to offer, why not?
Why not?
So that's what I offer. And if you think it might be beneficial for you, check it out.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I've linked to Sharon's YouTube channel in the description, and it's here in the chat. So if you're watching the replay, you can click that link in the description. And one more time, I'll also link to A Fit Life Center on Instagram. Copy, paste, Sharon's Instagram as well. Is that? Oh wait, but
Yeah.
hopefully it's not a private Instagram.
No, it's public.
Okay. All right.
It's public.
Okay, so we've got those links. Okay, this was fun. Do you think this was fun?
It was. Thank you so much. This has been great.
Good. Good. I'm glad. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And again, I'm sorry about the time of day. If I had known, I wouldn't have done you like this. But thank you so much. This was super fun. So, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm glad that you didn't know.
Okay. And I'll see you in Cancun.
Yes, hopefully we will meet and have a cocktail because I'm looking forward to that.
Several. And you're with your sister. Yes, my birthday twin. Yes, indeed. Believe that. That's about it. That's about it for the weekend. Okay.
Yes. That's it. Nothing else.
Good. I'm so excited. Okay, I'll see you then. Okay, thank you so much. You guys, thank you all again. As always, thank you for being so kind and wonderful and giving and thoughtful and supportive. Thank you for being that to me. Thank you for being that to Sharon. Thank you for being that to each other in the chat, as always. Okay, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys again soon. I have some. I've been putting up midweek videos, so I'll have another midweek video, and then next weekend. I don't remember. I don't know. I always want to tell you what we're going to talk about next Saturday, but I really don't know. So I think I have a guest already scheduled for next Saturday. I think. I don't remember. Okay. All right. Thanks, friends. Thank you, Sharon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.